5 stadiums before the bye, but now 3 of the next 4 are in this stadium here. What's your expectation for how the team handles the home field? What do you expect from home field?
Yeah, it's obviously, first thing, the schedule gets a little more normal for us here in the last half of the season. We haven't played our best football at home, which is crazy. Those 2 early games that we didn't play very well, and those are all things that we have to do better. Right? We're playing in front of our fans. We're at home. Our stadium, our locker room, and we got to feed off the energy, obviously, of the crowd, and play our best football. And especially in the second half of the season, that's something that if you want that home field advantage or try to play for home field advantage, you got to do it at home. That's why they call it home field advantage. So, we've just got to focus in on that and just continue to improve and play our best ball down the stretch.
In your experience, can a team carry momentum through a bye week, or is it like a hard reset? You got to build from scratch.
I think it's a little of both, but I think it's a hard reset too. I think you have to, not necessarily maybe all the way back, to square one, but at the same time, the bye is good for getting guys healthy, the rest, clearing your mind and your head, and but when you get back in, it's how do you maintain an edge? How do you maintain, the ability to play for 4 quarters? Those are all things that are real, coming out of a break, and those are the things that I'll be talking to the team about this week and in the next couple of weeks, but it all starts, I think, during the week of preparation, right, in the practice, and then doing little things, extra conditioning, getting in the weight room, training room, all those little things, getting rest at night, those are all big pieces to how you play, not only coming out of the bye, but I think as we move down, the rest of the year.
On the flip side of that, they're coming off of a bye as well, but then the 3-game losing streak on the back half of that. And so I'm just curious, is it almost a good thing that there is that bye in between? Because, law of averages would suggest that they're desperate, some Murphy's Law coming off a 3-game losing streak, but now you both kind of had this opportunity. It's even playing fields. We both had the week off.
Yeah, I've been in situations where, I've been on that end, and sometimes the break comes at the right time, and you can sort of reset just a little bit, in those situations and kind of refocus, regroup, and really that's what the bye is for, to go back and look at the good and the bad and figure out why. As you move forward. So, sometimes, it tends to lean maybe towards the team that hasn't been playing well, right, coming out of the break. And yet, we're still riding that wave of emotion, from the last 5 games or so, and we've got to figure out how to continue that.
Is this a measuring stick game? Kind of see where the team's at?
I mean, listen, I don't think it's a measuring stick. I think it's you're playing a great football team, and we've played some really good football teams already. And, our guys have battled and hung in there. It's just going to be another one of those tough, physical, hard games. It's one of 17 games, and against a top NFC opponent, obviously, a playoff caliber team that was in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. So, is that a measuring stick? Could be. Right? We haven't done anything yet. We're not there yet. Our guys have to prepare that way and be ready for a 60-minute game.
What was the biggest thing in studying yourself in the first 8 weeks of the season during the bye that you learned about this team?
Schematically or
in general, is there anything that maybe you said we can do this better, or we've done this well surprisingly?
I think, the big thing too, I think the way the defense is played, creating takeaways, short fields, another possession for the offense, the ability to stop or at least slow down some good running teams, and those are all some positive takeaways. Obviously, both sides of the ball, we got to get better on third down. I think offensively, we've kept ourselves in too many third and those 8+, those long yardage situations, and then just offense, the turnovers. That's something we have to eliminate. Especially down the stretch. You want to get yourself in a position. You got to take care of the football, and so being able to focus on a couple of those areas, and just looking at it, and it's not a whole schematic change or the plays work. We're just failing to execute, and so we have to just, I think, tighten up and hone in. Not tighten up individually, but just tighten some things up, as a team, and just concentrate a little bit harder in those situations.
Do you take any comfort at all when you see how last year went? The team got so much better in the second half of the season on both sides of the ball, really. I'm just wondering if, that gives you a little bit of comfort moving forward that, hey, maybe this is a team just needs to, get a little bit more games under their belt and kind of get going.
Yeah, I think this team, our team, has figured out that we're always going to be in every game, or get it to the fourth quarter, as they say. I think one of the things too that we've realized is we've played with leads more this year. We're not coming back and fighting our way back into games. We're playing with that lead, and that's always a positive, So looking back, I think you can lean on some of those experiences from a year ago, but again, different team, different season, different set of circumstances this year. We're 6-2 and not 3-7 at some of these points last year, and and that's if you want to be a good football team and consistently a good football team, you've got to maintain, you've got to sustain, you've got to overcome your own adversities, right? And continue to work every single day. It's just like, what's everybody say? You want to go 1-0 this week, and that's obviously the goal.
This is going to be the first week that they have, Young and Bosa. How do you prepare for that without having the film to see both of those players playing together?
Well, we have experience and we have film on, on Chase. Obviously, when he in Washington, and coached against him, and an excellent football player, and of course, with Bosa, we know the type of player he is and the respect that he gets and deserves, and it's a challenge, to have two edge rushers like this, but we've done this before. You had Bosa and Mack, with the Chargers, and so. Listen, there's enough film out there. I mean, these are two great players. A lot of respect for both of them. Love watching them play and how hard they play. And our guys will be up for the challenge. It'll be a great opportunity for them.
What sort of problems does Christian McCaffrey present for a defense?
You can put him anywhere in the formation. Backfield, split out wide, motion him, jet sweep. You put him anywhere. He's just that type of player. Hand him the ball, throw him the ball, screens, down the field. Just an overall solid player, and you have to account for him. And then, it's hard to get him on the ground. He can break tackles. He's strong. Physical back that does some really good things.
There was a little bit of conversation going into the season of whether Christian and Evan could back up what they did last year. They're actually on pace to surpass what they did last year. Surpass. What does it say about them that they've kind of done better in year two, even though people were wondering whether or not, with Ridley, how would Christian go, and how would with Britton, how would Evan respond, kind of thing?
I think you realize that when the offense is clicking, it kind of runs through both of those guys, and whether Calvin's being taken away by double coverages and all that, Trevor seems to find Evan Christian somewhere, obviously. But it's really no surprise. This is the way they work. It's the way they go about their day, the way they practice, the extra stuff they do, both guys. And there's a comfort level, obviously, with the quarterback, Trevor, just knowing where they're going to be, second year in the system, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just it's a nice comfort to have.
What is really
the message for the passing game, Trevor and the skill guys, when you're going against a guy like Fred Warner who can just seems like eliminate the middle of the field?
Yeah, another there's no shortage of talent on defense, that's for sure. This guy's all over the field. He's smart. He gets the defense lined up. He can run sideline to sideline. Good tackler in space. I mean, he can carry a receiver deep down the middle. I mean, it's just a solid football player, right? And again, somebody that you give a lot of respect to, obviously, but it's you got to play 11 on 11, right? And it's about our pieces against their pieces and how best we can maneuver our guys and try to create some matchups somewhere. And yet just know that these guys are going to make plays. They're going to make a tackle for loss, or they're going to get a sack, or they may break up a pass or something like that. But it doesn't keep you from continuing to try, right, and execute your game plan. So good players, give them their respect, and you still got to play.
There's a stat out there. Your guys' defense is one of the best at forcing 3-and-outs this year. Is that something maybe the offense can take more advantage of, just capitalizing off those?
We need to. It's tough when your defense goes 3-and-out and you go 3-and-out. I mean, and we've had some of that, right? That's some of those lulls we've had in games, and those are the things that, looking back on the bye, that you figure out the why. And a lot of times it's just first and second down. It's just a negative run on first down or an incomplete pass puts you in 2nd and 10s and things like that. Those are hard to overcome. So the defense has done a nice job of, and we've talked about this, keeping us in football games, right? And whether it's creating takeaways or turnover on downs, 3-and-outs. Offense now has to go and answer and sustain and stay on the field, and it just comes down to execution and each man doing their job.
Getting Walker Little back in the lineup, how much does that help you guys in the run game as well as in short yardage sort of situations?
Well, Walker, obviously, good player, bigger body, in there, and we'll see. I mean, there's not a lot of film with him in there, so it's just hard to say. But Tyler's done a nice job in there, and now Walker gets his opportunity to go back in there and play, and hopefully it generates a little movement up front, and that's what you hope for. But we'll see. It's just there's just not enough out there.
What did you see as sort of the problems in that area? Just getting the 1 yard on 3rd and 1, things like that. What was the issue in the first 8 games of the season?
Guys are going to get beat from time to time. It's football. They got great players. We got great players. Guys get edged. Offensive linemen get edged. You get tackled for loss, right? Maybe the ball carrier doesn't hit the exact hole where we expect it to be, or maybe it's just a little off tackle or a little inside the guard, and we make that, or an incomplete pass or something like that. And it's just sometimes you get beat, and those are critical situations, though, that we understand for us to stay on the field, and not go 3-and-out. We've got to be better, and we have to execute better. Even on 4th down, we got to execute better, right? We got to call better plays in those situations. That's on coaches, right? Put our players in better situations, and so everybody has a hand in it, and it's an area that we definitely focus on.
Do you worry about your rookies down the stretch at all? College football season's wrapping up. You still got a lot of games left to play. Do you talk to them about how to handle
We'll address it. I'll address it with them. I mean, we've played 8 games, and 9 left, and they go, 9 left? That's a college football season, so we'll keep them, we'll keep them going, keep them focused, keep them energized, and it's just part of being a rookie, and our vets do a good job of keeping those guys plugging along.
Is Zay going to be back on the practice field this week, you think?
He'll be back out there, limited, obviously. He'll do some individual, do some stuff on the side. He'll work a little bit this week, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Tim.